think these I don't know if this is a fad or it's really a thing, but are spray sunscreens good enough for the skin?
No.
Yeah.
So spray sunscreens, yes, you can use it on large body parts, which is difficult to apply. If
Like
you,
legs and
yes, and
arms.
when you are in a beach or you are expecting sun exposure for a short period of time, then spray sunscreens make it very easy to use. Even on kids, it's easier to
Yeah.
use a spray sunscreen, but you have to be very very careful to not spray it around the
Mouth.
face, around the
A
mouth
lot of
and
brands
nose.
are promoting, and I read a study where the fumes go in. You inhale the fumes
Yes,
when
so
you
it
put it on
has
the
to,
face.
even if you do want to use, let's say you have only one sunscreen with you, which is a spray sunscreen, spray it on your hands,
Then dab.
palms, then you
Yeah.
can use it on your face. Don't spray directly around your face. Absolutely not, because aerosols will be inhaled and it can be problematic. So it's good for the body for large surface area. I usually prefer spray sunscreens for, reapplication purpose. So let's say you apply a lotion once and then if you want to reapply, then use a spray. I have the same, thought about the stick sunscreens as well.
I was
Correct.
about
You
to ask
cannot
you
depend
this,
on
yes.
just stick
Stick
sunscreen to
sunscreens.
But
provide
the
complete
main
protection.
thing is, I feel, see, I have OCD, so I can't just keep opening and putting up. Like
Yeah.
I've got dust on my face, and now I can't open the stick and reapply and keep it back like that. So
Correct.
it is exposure to a lot
Yeah.
of
Chemical,
environment
yeah.
around.
So how
dust.
these stick sunscreens work is, they just forms a layer.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then it's clean again in the sense that it just forms a layer and leaves it. But stick sunscreen also is only a good reapplicator. Like for reapplication of sunscreen, it's good. You apply a layer of cream or a lotion based sunscreen that you usually use, and when you're on the go, rather than not applying any sunscreen, if you are out and about, applying a stick sunscreen is better. Now, rather than not using any sunscreen. So that is when it comes into play, when you have
But
to reapply
my
it.
point is, if you're going out, you have been exposed to a lot of dust. You've done your skincare. You have had sunscreen as the last step. Now you went out, maybe in a dusty area or somewhere, and taking out the sunscreen, be it a normal anything,
Any
be it a
sunscreen,
moisturizer
yeah.
or anything, on top of the dust you're putting up. I want to explain that because I personally never get the logic of reapplication after the dust is exposed to your skin.
Yeah, then it doesn't make sense, because then those gritty particles, you're just trying to like
Yeah,
seal it
that's
into
And
your
then
skin.
this causes sensitivity,
Yeah.
which
So in that
customers
case,
complain.
if you are going to such a dusty environment that you feel that there's dust stuck on the skin, then best to wash your face and then apply, or use maybe like a wipe and then apply it. That is also not the best thing to do. But I would still suggest that if you are out and open, then it's better to just use one layer of sunscreen and maybe wash and then use another layer. Otherwise, on a day-to-day basis, we are not exposed to that amount of dust that we have to worry about washing your face again. Then you can go ahead and reapply it just as is.
And
Not a
what
problem.
do you suggest to the girls who like to reapply a lot of sunscreen even after the makeup is done? Is it like good for the skin, or is
It is very difficult to reapply sunscreen in a proper layer without disturbing your makeup.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you have a lot of makeup on,
Yeah.
I would say that just use a good layer of sunscreen
Before
first,
that.
and then use makeup on
Yeah.
top. To reapply sunscreen without disturbing your makeup at all is very difficult.
Yeah.
If you are out and about in a way that you feel you are exposed to a lot of sun, then apply a layer of sunscreen which will disturb your makeup. Then maybe you can just apply a little bit of blush and a corrector, a concealer in areas which you want to conceal.
Because I
Or
see-
use a tinted sunscreen which will
Yeah.
also give you a little bit of coverage. So that is the best way to go.
I see a lot of marketing gimmicks that these brands do, and they tell them ki your sunscreen will be very invisible to the makeup and it will set the makeup. They're providing sunscreen sprays for setting setting the makeup, and then you reapply the sunscreen in that way. But that I feel is very harmful to the skin.
More than harmful to see, you have to understand that there are two things: either you don't use sunscreen at all, or you reapply sunscreen. So we have to look at it like that.
Yeah.
So is it better to reapply with a spray rather than not use at all? Yes, it's better to reapply with a spray, but not directly on the face. Like we said, you can first put it on the palm and then use it. Is it better to use like a proper sunscreen over a spray or a stick sunscreen? Obviously it's better to use like a gel or a cream over a stick or a
Right.
spray, but then it's better to use stick or a spray than nothing at all.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
everything has a
Got
space.
the-
You just need to understand when and how to utilize it.
So, all in all, you are saying sunscreen is very important.
Absolutely
be it
important.
Any form.
Yes.
Stick is also okay if they're not applying at all. Like for the guys, it's
Yes, anything that you like.
Yeah.
So when I get asked, which is the best sunscreen, I always tell them the best sunscreen is the one that you use.
Yeah.
That the one that is not in the bottle and is on your skin. That is the best sunscreen. Okay. So as long as you use a sunscreen regularly and in proper quantity, that's the best sunscreen.
That's a very
Which
nice
one ever
way
you
to
like.
put it. That's,
Is the
that's a
best.
very nice
Just
way
apply.
to put it.
Yeah, just
Because
apply it.
if I tell you Sunstalker, if you talk about it, Sunstalker, we made it keeping men in mind, because they are so like on the go always or in the hurry, and we just wanted them to have a solution जिसमें मॉइस्चराइजर भी हो, सीरम भी हो and SPF भी हो, and they're just good to go after
Similarly,
the
as
cleanser.
she had mentioned the moisturizing sunscreen for the dry
Correct.
and combination, and we added a radiance ingredient, Claire Blanche, into it so that it can work as a serum moisturizer and an
Yeah,
SPF.
so for people who don't want to layer too many products,
Yeah.
you are getting a sunscreen which
Exactly.
is also moisturizing.
Specifically for the boys, because
Yeah.
we hardly can wait for more than
Correct.
5 minutes.
Yeah, and that this is also one of the problems that I have with so much of fear mongering that happens on social media. While trying to fear monger about a certain ingredient in the sunscreen, and that ingredient is usually present in most of the sunscreens
Correct.
out there, which are reasonably priced. So people stop using sunscreen because they want to avoid that ingredient completely. But actually, using a sunscreen is much more important and much more likely to give you the benefits than avoiding it completely, and the risk of using that ingredient. So that's why we need to understand where it's coming from. Of course, we need to guide. If you have a choice, you make the better choice. But using a sunscreen is very
Better than
important.
the bare skin.
Yeah.